They were like, listen here. I came into the room at 50 years old. And I'm 55 now. And I've been sober 5 years. And these past 5 years have been the best 5 years of my life. And when they said that, like, something clicked in my head. Like, I didn't say much, but I was just like, you've been in this room for 5 years, and the best 5 years of your life has been, like, now. Most of you guys don't know, but some of you guys do know that I'm an alcoholic and an addict, and I'm like 4 years sober, and I'm in recovery. And through this like recovery process, in the beginning of my recovery journey, like when I hit my rock bottom, and then I came to the rooms like Alcoholics Anonymous, NA, whatever you want to call it, like all those different fellowships to try to like get help. I experienced like almost a love like no other, and a welcoming like no other, in the sense of people finally just saying, I'm here with you, and I see you, and I'm here through whatever it is, and whatever you do, I love you for it, like, and I just wish the best for you, and that's that. And that's so foreign from what I feel like I grew up in, or what I feel like the people I grew up around, where it's just like, oh, if you don't have anything to offer, like, bye-bye, you could skedaddle, and these people taught me something, and a crazy lesson in which I never would ever learn, and I never thought I'd learn from those people, and when I first came into the room, I was fresh off of like being homeless and doing a whole bunch of terrible stuff, and I really didn't know where my life was going, but I knew I needed help, and I was like 90 days sober, and I already tried to not go to like these meetings, which I thought were so stupid, and then I just said one day, like, bro, forget it, I'm just gonna go to this meeting, like I want to stay sober, I want to change my life, I want to go see who I can be in life. And that's also an aspect of the full human experience, is finding out who exactly the best person you could be is, and finding out who you are, and it takes a while. It's not easy to be on this journey of like being completely and brutally honest with yourself of who you are, who you want to be, and the actions that you're taking that are inauthentic. I want to be authentic. I want to be who I am, and that's the hardest thing to do nowadays, be exactly who you are. And it's crazy to say, and maybe that's just a personal thing, but this whole like putting up a facade thing led me to my lowest bottom, of crashing out and living this life and getting addicted to things I shouldn't have been addicted to, and doing things I shouldn't have been doing, and becoming a person and trying to put on this front of somebody I wasn't, and pushing down every emotion. I pushed down every emotion I felt, because I was just like, I can't feel them. I've truly felt I couldn't feel them. So when I was coming into this room, I had so many emotions. I had so much stuff, so much anxiety. I was scared to even come to the room. And I went in the meeting that was in New Jersey, like literally across the street from my middle school, like the middle school I grew up going to. And I was scared to walk in. I didn't know what I was going to see when I walked in there, but I walked in, and there was like a bunch of old people. And the first 2-3 times that I went, I would like come like late, because I didn't want to like converse with anybody, and then I would go to my seat and then like listen to the speaker, listen to whatever the meeting had going on. It was most of the time a speaker. And then I would like right before, 5 minutes before, I would run out. And then one particular day they caught me. Like they like pretty much, it was like I might have came early, and then they kind of conversed with me, and I was like kind of being shy, kind of being weird, but it was like an anniversary meeting, and they were like, how many days do you have? I was like, maybe like 100. And then they were like, oh my God, you're like celebrating. And they were like, oh, you have 90 days. And then they said, and I really wasn't being nice, but I was just like, oh, okay, this is weird. They were like, yeah, we're celebrating. We have cake in the kitchen over there. Go get some cake. It was like really good ice cream cake, I remember. And everybody in the meeting was like 60, 50, 70, 80. Like, and there was like one young girl in the meeting. And she didn't say anything to me, so I didn't really have anybody, I felt like. So they're like, "Oh, you're celebrating 90 days. Let's go celebrate you. We'll have you go get a coin, you know?" And I'm just like, "Okay." Like I have like so much anxiety. It's insane. I feel it like now thinking about it. Whatever. I go up and I don't say much, but I'm like, I guess I want to get sober. Like, I guess I want to change my life. Like, I don't know, because I didn't know what to say. I didn't have this whole recovery journey. I didn't stay in the rooms for 90 days. I was just getting in there, and whatever. The meeting ends. I try to like, is close to ending. I try to like get out, and then they like kind of stop the meeting just to stop me from leaving early and like not conversing with them. And one guy stops me and he's just like, why are you coming here, you know, because I didn't really give a convincing speech. I feel as though, why are you coming here? And he wasn't saying it nice. Like, he was like, why are you here, you know? And I was just like, he's an older guy, 60s, yeah. And he was like, why are you here? I'm like, honestly, man, I don't really have anywhere else to go. You know, this is my last shot. You know, this is the only place I think I can go, I guess. And he's like, so you want to be sober? Like, this is what you want? And I'm just like, I guess, you know, I guess. And he's like, son, how old are you? And at this point, like, there's like the whole meeting is like crowding around me. It's not that many people. It's like 10-15 people. And I'm like, I'm 19, you know, I'm 19. Like, what do you want? You know, like, in a way, I'm kind of like lost. I'm like, dude, what do you want, dude? You know, and I'm a little on edge because I'm freaking, you know, 90 days. And I'm just getting through withdrawals and all these type of things. And I still have this cloud over my head from all the drugs I was taking. I'm taking Adderall, the Xanax, the smoking all day. Like, I smoked weed to the point, like, I couldn't even feel it anymore, you know? And I'm smoking the best stuff in the world, I think, you know? And when I said I'm 19, the face that these people made, like, their eyes lit up and they were like, oh my God, you know? And the first thing they said was, wow, you actually have a shot. You know, he has a shot. And they're like saying this around. And I'm like, a shot at what? Like, a shot at what? You know? And they were like, a shot to live a real life. You know, a real shot to live a real life. And I was just like, what? Like, what are you saying? And they were like, listen here. I came into the room at 50 years old. And I'm 55 now. And I've been sober 5 years. And these past 5 years have been the best 5 years of my life. You know, and you were stuck in a cycle. You were stuck in a pattern in which you weren't going to probably break out of. And the solution, and not the solution, but the route that you were going was towards like jails, institutions, and death. And they were not wrong, you know? And they're like, you have a shot to go live a life, go build a life, not mess up your life every single day, and become a person, like really become a person, and find out who you're destined to be, find out everything in which you can be, because you don't have this addiction anymore. You have this addiction, but you're not constantly sedating yourself. You're not trying to heal yourself and control the narrative of life, of like how you're feeling, you know? And I didn't feel right in how I was feeling. I always felt like I wanted to fix it. I always felt like I could fix it. I felt I couldn't let go of the control, you know? And I still have that problem. I want to control how I feel. I hate feeling emotions. I hate acting as if like something has control over me. Something can make me feel something, you know? I want to be this like cyborg of a person, and that was my goal. I just wanted to heal myself of this pain, and I wanted to play the victim in a way. I wanted to be like, oh, poor me, whatever, you know? And when they said that, like, something clicked in my head. Like, I didn't say much, but I was just like, you've been in this room for 5 years, and the best 5 years of your life has been like now, and you've lived 50 years. They said, yeah, sat and drank, and when I was in life, I wasn't even in life. I was always trying to run away so much that even when good things would happen, I wouldn't realize it. And over this course of sobriety, I've had moments and highs that like are unbelievable. I've went on to live a life past my wildest dreams. That's what they were selling me. Like they would go up on the stand and they'd speak and they'd say, I've life past my wildest dreams. And that was the goal. That was the goal for me. I wanted a life past my wildest dreams. And I didn't have the best ambitions of when I came into the room and to get sober. I kind of just was like, dude, I want to get rich. I want to get rich and I want to do whatever I want to do. I didn't really have an idea of like, I want to be sober and I want to like have this spiritual experience. But now I kind of have that sense of I want to find and get closer to God. I want to find peace. I want to find serenity. I want to go through the highs and the lows of life because that's where I think the most joy is in. The whole goal of life is to, I feel like, go through and weather the storm without running away from the fight, running away from the storm and giving up. And it's so funny how it's so cheap to drink, to do drugs, to live this life of partying and going out and living for the weekends or whatever you want to call it. And I'm not really trying to promote you to go and like get sober or whatever it is, or be your best self. But the barrier for entry of like trying to be the best person that you possibly can be and like trying to find out who you're destined to be and trying to find your purpose and like living a good life is so low. And like also it's low to do the other stuff. It's completely cheap. It's cheap to get drunk. It's cheap to have these easy exits, easy escapes out of life, but they cost you so much. The cost of it is incredible. The cost of your disconnection to life, the cost of it, your disconnection to yourself, and I feel like I couldn't, when I looked in the mirror back then, I couldn't see me anymore. And it took a year, and then I started to see me a little bit more. It took 2 years, and I started to see me a little bit better. And then in that second year, I started to do things that I was amazed that I was able to do, and I started to realize that I was formed in those years from childhood to going up to like a teenager, a grown man at 19, to have this built-in fear that I couldn't escape, and this fear that ran my life riot because I was trying to sedate it. I was trying to like calm it down and act as if I didn't have this fear. And now I can acknowledge the fear. I had so much fear of when I wanted to achieve so many different dreams. I had fear of just trying in life, and also just like even the simplest thing, like going up to a girl again and really feeling like the anxiety of feeling scared to get rejected, and learning how to do that again. And I had to relearn a whole new life because I constantly had this feeling, even before I had this crazy addiction, right? That, I got to drink to go up to a girl. I got to get this liquid courage to go up to a girl, and it's so subtle, and it's so crazy how our lives outside, like when we're teenagers, college, grown-ups, the people bond over a bottle of wine, people bond over a beer, people bond over escaping, and the crazy part about it is that, are you ever really interfacing with someone for real? Like, are you ever really meeting the person that you think you're meeting? Because I know once I had that drink in me, once I had that drug inside of me, I was loose enough to be anybody. I was loose enough to, I had all of a sudden confidence. I all of a sudden had these funny jokes or whatever you want to call it. All of a sudden I was able to quote unquote be myself, and whole time without it, I was a cyborg. I was nothing, and I saw that in so many different people, which I thought I knew them and I didn't really know them, so I say that to say, it's like so built into our society to kind of be your lowest self, and in moments of like escape you find yourself again. Like I don't really know how to describe this, but you just want to be a part of. You just want to be accepted, and the price of acceptance is these things. In a way, I felt like that for myself when it's like I'm in high school and everybody starts doing drugs. It's like I don't even fit in with you people anymore. I don't even know you guys anymore. And I gotta try them now. Like that was the first thing that hit in my mind. Like every person I know does drugs. Every person I know smokes weed. Every person I know drinks now. So let me drink to be a part of them, and be accepted. And the anxiety that I had when I was getting sober and still the anxiety, it's a normal feeling. These are normal feelings that we run away from. This is a part of the normal human experience to get nervous when you go talk to a girl. It's a part of the normal human experience to go and fear things, fear love, fear rejection, fear not being enough, and trying to build up that confidence whichever and which way you can, and we dodge it. We run away. We try to do whatever it takes to get this like little cheat code and live a life that's less than us, and we have no idea, and I had no idea of the person in which I was settling in being. I had a sense, we all have this like consciousness in a way of like, I'm settling for a person that's less than me. I'm not being who I know I can be. I know I can be better. And I told myself every day, man, like, tomorrow I'll stop smoking weed. Tomorrow, I'll be better. I'll be better. And you know what? Tomorrow's passed. And they kept passing. And the sense of my confidence and the sense of wanting to be accepted became greater, because I kept on chasing that feeling of I need to get to the point where I have enough courage to go be having fun with these guys, and have fun with these girls, or talk to that, do that, and it's a crutch, and it sucks, and it's I don't believe that I don't want to be too crazy about this, but I don't believe that's a way of life. And I don't believe that that's the best life we can live, and I find it insane that was the best life I thought I could live. In the bars, in the clubs, drinking on a Saturday, Sunday, Friday, living for the weekend. That's what I thought was my best life. And I've been baffledly surprised by how joyful my life could be without any of that stuff, and without all the fake friends, and without the girls in which I never really liked, and without that drink that gave me all that courage, and the drug that made life seem so great. The joy that comes out of the pain in which life comes with, and the ups and downs, and the highs and the lows. That's what we're here for, to live every emotion that is to be felt. And I'm scared of everything, and I'm still trying to navigate this feeling of fear of being in which I want to be, and being what my childhood fantasies were, and what I dreamed to be. It's scary. It's fearful. I'm full with fear in doing it. But I've learned to figure out how to just go and just do it and just be. And I hope, and the goal in which I'm saying all this for, is that my goal is to find who I am, find who I am at my core, find the truths in which I'm so scared of seeing, fight away these demons in which I have inside of me that feels like I'm not enough, that puts on this facade to the world of me being great and so perfect. And I want to be perfect. I want to be everything that a person can be that has no flaws, but that's impossible to be. And I'm comfortable today sitting in my flaws, and sitting in my scars, and sitting in how imperfectly perfect I am. And I think that's been the true measure of me, of growth and confidence, and growth in a sense of why I'm here, and a sense of what life is about. Because now I have the capability to love. I have the capability to see somebody at their faults because I've taken myself out of those places where I hated myself so much, and I loved myself, and God loved me, to a place of being able to sit here today and talk about how hard it is kind of sometimes to live life, and it's crazy to think that we judge people. I judge people all the time, and I have to tell myself, dude, life's freaking tough, man. Life's not easy at all. It's a struggle. It's a struggle to face it. It's a struggle to accept it. It's a struggle to really realize that you have no control. That you have no control over every outcome. You have no control over every person. You have no control over the pain that you're going to feel or not feel. And it's inevitable that we're going to die. And who knows when we're going to die? And who knows if we ever are going to find what we were here for. And it sounds corny and it sounds so stupid to think that we could die today, and today is like the last breaths we could take, and tomorrow won't be there, but it might not be. Like, it really might not be there. So ask yourself, when am I going to make this change? When am I going to be the person that I want to be? When am I going to stop running from my fears? When am I going to just be and let myself be and find that kid again of who I grew up and who I knew I wanted to be? We all had a vision at some point, and it all went up in smoke from whatever reasons. So ask yourself, in this 2026 year, like, do you want to push it off, push off yourself more? Do you want to run away from yourself some more? Do you want to sit down and have the hard conversation with yourself of who you are and who you want to be, and who you don't want to be, and be honest about who you don't want to be, and stop saying tomorrow. Stop saying tomorrow about your dreams. Stop saying tomorrow about everything, because honestly, the love you don't show today, the person you aren't today, one day you're going to regret. And think about that person that told me that they went through 50 years of their life and they were a person that they didn't want to be. Do you really want to go through 50 years of your life, even 30 years of your life, and be somebody that you realize that I wasn't the person I wanted to be? And it's extreme in which I'm talking, but do you? We have a chance today to be anybody we want to be. So don't take it for granted.